Hello and welcome back to the Apple Barn. Today we're going to be taking a look at my Vespa. Now, last year I rebuilt this Vespa completely from the ground up. We had the engine out, the frame completely stripped down with our students, and it was great fun and it made it look amazing. And then on Christmas Eve I went out for dog biscuits of all things, and I grabbed a handful of front brake, washed the front end out and crashed it. Now there's loads of excuses that I could make about how and why I crashed. The rider's weight is at the back, the engine is at the back, the petrol tank is at the back, doesn't leave a lot of weight on the front wheel, and that's why I crashed. The tyres are old, that's why I crashed. However, it was probably rider error. So today we're going to have a look at how we're going to fix that and fix the other problems that occurred while we crashed. Now, I mentioned that the tyres were old. So these tyres that came on the bike I haven't replaced, and they could have been on there for a long time. Now, how long? I'll show you how to find that out in a minute. You see, the older tyres get, the more plasticky and nylon the rubber goes, and it actually hardens a bit and gives you less grip. Once again, I'm not saying that's the full reason for the crash, but I need some kind of excuse to hold on to. Pick the washers up in a minute. Now, on your tyres, you'll find a little oval stamp here. Now, this oval stamp has the numbers, in fact, 20 and 09. 20 and 09. Now, what that means is that this tyre was made in the 20th week of 2009. It's quite an old tyre. Now, legally, it's got loads of tread. There's no cracks, bulges or lumps in the sidewall. So there isn't actually any reason why it can't stay on the bike. But it is possibly gone a bit plasticky and not giving us as much grip as we had beforehand. And this is what's going to be replacing them. This is a Michelin S1 scooter tyre. Now, it has a speed rating of J, which is 100 miles an hour. Also, if we look at our date stamp, it's 21/20. So it was made on the 21st week of this year. Also, it's a 3.50-1. Now, what that means is it's 3.5 inches across the tyre and 1 inch on the sidewall. Also, these are directional. They have to go in the right way. Now, you have to be careful of that on a Vespa because the rims are thicker on one side than they are on the other. They're offset. Now, that is so that it can clear the hubs and the caliper. So you have to make sure it goes in the right rotation. When I got these rims, they were second hand, so I took them to work and we renovated them with our students. Now, there is something interesting about them. They're actually a split rim, which means you unbolt them and they come in two separate halves. Then you can put the new tyre and the new inner tube on. You don't see that every day, especially on a small little bike. Before I can bolt it back on, what we've got to do is bleed the brakes. I had to replace the mudguard because I damaged it. To do that, you have to take the whole front leg out of the Vespa. And to do that, you have to disconnect this brake line, carrying the brake fluid. Now it's back on and the mudguard's in, we have to bleed the brakes. Brake fluid goes in the master cylinder here. And it comes out here at the bleed nipple. Now the front brake has been bled, we can put the wheel back on. Making sure we get the right direction as well. Excellent. There we go. Now you've got to make sure you get all of the air out of the front system, the brakes. If you don't, the brakes are going to feel horrible. They'll be spongy and they won't feel good, but also they'll be very inefficient. And we need our brakes to work as efficiently as possible. We've got a nice new wheel, tyre combination. One of my students helped me with this. When we were rebuilding the bike, we rebuilt the front end, put new bearings in the hub and so on, wheel bearings, and we cleaned the hub up. We just took all the paint off of it, cleaned it up with a wire wheel, and it looks really good. I like the raw finish of the metal, just plain aluminium. Nothing too shiny. You can polish aluminium to a mirror finish, but you're forever cleaning it then. So just clean, just as it is, without any coatings on it. This should finish off what we're doing at the front of the bike, and then we can move on to the back, and we have to look at our gear selector box, adjusting that, fit a new wheel and tyre at the back, and we might have to look at the kickstart because I think that got bent as this was sliding down the road. So let's go and do it. And to fix the back of the bike, what we have to do is take this panel off. Now, when the bike crashed, I damaged this panel. Here it is, it was freshly painted, and I slid down the road on it. However, these things are made of good, strong steel, so the bike crashes really well. Thankfully. To take this panel off, what we have to do is lift the seat up and undo a clip. Now the clip's undone, we can remove our panel. And this will reveal the engine. At the bottom of the engine is our selector box. That also got damaged when we were sliding down the road. So we've got to remove it, clean it up, put it back on, and then we can adjust it to get the gears right. But we're going to show you that in the next video. So if you enjoyed what you saw today, chuck us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you next time in the Apple Barn.